Hey y'all, welcome back to another Plan With Me and semester wrap up. I'm going to talk a little bit about the semester being over and pre-plan my first part of June. Alright, so I already have this printed, as you can see. From Yumi Art, I used her not last month, but in April. Beautiful, beautiful artwork she's got on her website if you get a chance to check her out. Whew, that went a lot smoother than I thought it was going to. I used this washi last month, but you know what? It fit the color so well. I just couldn't help myself. Hello, kitty. How are you today? So I just washi taped on the beautiful art print with the mostly the two colors that I'm going to be using for this. I didn't choose a blue because the dark blue gets... One, I'm using dark blue currently. And you can see it hides my days, so gray shouldn't be too terrible. It's a little bit lighter, and kind of some gray tones in there with the pink. Yeah, I'm not really a pink person. Most females I know like pink in some sort, and I'm like, I'm ambivalent to it. I'm more of a green girl. Because again, you can tell from my beautiful pen holder, most of my stuff is green. My mother and my stepfather, anytime they find something green, they have to get it for me. I think it's adorable. I have a lot of green things that I've never heard of before. So now I am just creating my month at a glance in calendar form because that is how I prefer it. This has been working for me for quite some time. I'm going to do something a little bit different. Usually I put those in the center, and this time I'm even going to highlight them, which I probably honestly should have done the little ball first, but that's what happens when you do something new. So while I'm doing this, since this is kind of mindless, a little wrap up about my semester. I always get sad at the end of this semester because I feel like I built a community in my classroom and I only get them for 16 weeks. And then they're gone, and I miss them, and I say this every single semester, but it's true. I miss those damn yahoos. And I had only 14 students this semester, so I got to know them pretty well. Not as well as you can, know a student as a teacher. And they were a really, really smart bunch. I always have smart students. And I always have, the varying levels of students. But they... Usually I get some, shock and awe and things to the types of stuff that I teach in class. And this semester, a lot of them were like, yeah, we know about that. Did you know about this, this, and this? And I'm just like, where the hell did you come from? I also had a lot of older students this semester. A lot of either taking my class or a class like mine for a second time, or coming back to school after having been gone for quite a while, meaning that they have a little bit more life experience, and that tends to translate to being analytical, which is one of the main things that I teach in my classroom, is to be analytical and then be able to communicate about it efficiently, especially in writing. But I even had a homeschool student this semester who said that he was an awful writer and was really worried and had to work hard for his writing, but did pretty darn well in my class, so all that work paid off, apparently. Alright, so I just put my quote in for June, and it is, a man should never neglect his family for business, and that is something I need to remind myself now that I am on vacation. And that is to not ignore my husband and my stepson and to do some stuff with them while we have the summer. And also, since I go home for a month over the summer, to actually spend some time with my parents and my niece and my brother and my stepdad and my grandmother, who is 91 and still kicking it, and to not book myself full of stuff to do while I'm visiting with them. By the way, I'm taking a flight. It's the first time I'm ever taking a flight home. Not the first time I've ridden in a plane, but I'm terrified. I usually take the train, and I'm not a fan of flying. If you got tips for someone who literally sits there white-knuckled, gripping their seat the entire time while they fly, any advice, please let me know below, because I'm... Okay, I gotta stop thinking about it and talking about it, or we're gonna get into the psychiatric type of meeting, and we don't have time for that. This is going to be my master task list and my overall schedule for this shit I gotta do this month. This isn't gonna be really any different, so I thought I would talk a little bit about my summer if I can decide if it's gonna be gray. Alright, let's do gray. Alright, I didn't start talking. So one of the main things I'm doing over the summer, at least over the next month, is I am working a freelance gig, working on a cookbook, which I mentioned in my last video, well, my last plan with me, bookish, editing, whatever you want to call this, related video. And so I'm just formatting that, and I'm learning a whole lot from that, and I think it's really interesting, the different types of ways to configure a recipe and that type of thing. That's going nicely, which makes life a whole lot easier on me. And I'm also reading stories for our time submissions, and I haven't gotten very far, which shouldn't really be that much of a surprise since I overbook myself so much, but I'm gonna mess this up if I don't number this first. Got a little wonky on there. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, I have a pretty light workload, and so I hope to read and edit at least half of the time submissions I have already, which I think I'm at about 60 or so. Got another month before the submissions closes, and we usually get a big dump of them at the end. So hoping to get at least through 25 this month. I've gotten through a few. A little bit of progress is better than nothing. And I'm also continuing to work on my 100-day challenge. I'm like 500 words short of 40,000 words in my new book. And that has been written over the last 2.5 months, which is a lot faster for me than normal. So I'm more than halfway. And I also am only going to be focusing on about 8,000 words for Inferno this next month, and I'm going to focus my other 8,000 or so words that I plan for the month on Tatiana's Diary, which is Ria's mother, the main character in the book I'm currently writing. Her mother, who died giving birth to her, knew she was going to die, and so kept a journal talking to her daughter and letting her know bits and pieces about her, but Ria doesn't know that she has this available to her. So in this book, she actually gets, this is book 4 by the way, Inferno, she gets a hold of it, and so as part of the Time anthology that I was just talking about. I'm going to write her bits and pieces of her diary that try to make some type of plotting chronological sense without being boring. That's the hope there. I've never written something in this format, although I've done something similar in my creative nonfiction classes that I took in my master's degree program. I'm all about the thick pen today. It's not usual. I usually like to vary quite a bit. So as usual, I will fill in the bits and pieces of this in pencil first, and then I will come back and film me filling it in with pen and talking about what my goals are and why I do what I do, where I do it. And now we have the same old editorial calendar. You'll see it might be a little bit more full with AuthorTube stuff, because I'm putting my hat in that and going to do some fun challenges and stuff like that, and I'm really excited about. And since I didn't over plan myself for the summer, I think it's perfectly doable. And I'm thinking about getting an actual camera and doing some like 12-hour writing challenges, write-ins and the typical type of things that you see with author tubers. Outlining, planning with me, not just this kind of planning with me, but planning and plotting novels and stories, and writing with me, and editing and grading and organizing bookshelves and cleaning offices and all of that types of stuff. So I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy that. I'm doing it, I'm kind of selfish because I find those entertaining and I think that they're interesting, and I kind of want to try doing it. So I'm going to try doing it. Shouldn't do things for other people, should do them for yourself, even though that's really not a good business move. It's kept me sane all this time. So I think I mentioned this a little bit so far, but I have been writing every day this year. And by that I mean probably seriously 99.9% of the days. I've missed a few days here and there, but no more than a handful so far of days that I haven't written something, let alone reached or surpassed my goal. And I've noticed how I'm compressing the time that I would spend going, I don't know what I'm writing, I don't know what I'm doing, or would you just sit down and frickin' write something? And I'm eliminating that time and that pressure to just sit down and write something after getting completely frustrated with myself and stalling for days or weeks and sometimes months at a time, because I know every day I'm going to have to sit down and write something. So I've just been doing it, and that's one of the things that I have had the hardest time being consistent with. I've known for a really long time. I wrote one of my first blog posts was about that very thing, about the only thing that creates writer's block is when a writer stops writing. And it doesn't have to be good words, but you just have to keep writing, and you have to keep putting something down, and you'll get somewhere. And of course that has been reiterated in a lot of places, specifically Camp NaNoWriMo, or actual NaNoWriMo. I always think of it as Camp NaNoWriMo because that's the only time I get to do it. I can't participate in November. That is full-on semester grading, no way I'm going to write that many words down type of month. So yeah, pretty much just cut my procrastination down and just made myself do what I was going to do anyways, eventually. And it is sit and write and figure it the fuck out. Which is usually my advice for people who get stuck is, you know what, write something. do a little research, listen to some music, but most importantly, sit in front of that page and try out words until you find something that at least gets you somewhere. Whether or not you keep it or not is not a matter here. It's just writing, and more often than not I find that I keep most of it. Again, 99.9% of it. So writing every day has really helped, and that's made me, as you guys saw last month, I hit about 40,000 words for the year. Let's go back and look. Alright, I had to pause because my husband came in from outside. More broken shit under the house. Yay. So you can see I've hit almost 50,000. I was 10,000 off, almost 50,000 words by the end of last month, and I've well over that now. 40,000 in a new project finished. 2 other creative works, both of them much shorter. But really, it's been kicking my ass. I'm being honest there. It has been kicking my ass, and I need a break, and I'm probably going to take one before I do a 12-hour writing challenge all in one day that I want to film for AuthorTube, and probably take a day off before it and after it so I can be mentally prepared for such a challenge. I'm doing that next Tuesday. I'm recording it because my stepson is still in school. I am out of school, and so it shouldn't interfere with a whole lot, aka cooking, helping the kid out with stuff, and other chores that happen during the days when he is completely home, especially on summer break. So I'm going to color him first. So again, I will fill this out and color code it and whatnot in my part 2 of this. I am just setting this up right now so that I can slowly fill out bits and pieces of it, although I have most of this ready. But that will allow me to fill these out, and then I can reassess my goals at the end of the month, but that's not for, a little while. So this is going to be what it is for now, and I have one more page that I'm going to do a packing list for. Haven't quite decided how I'm going to break it up though, but I have it listed here, and then my weekly spread will start. So I'm going to erase this real quick. Well, that's it. I will see you guys in a little while for part 2. Have a good day. Bye.